Welcome in, everybody. So many friends. Oh my lord. Carrot, Dermo, Grays, James. I'm missing anybody else? There you are. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope you're all well. That's better. Oh, that's a bad place for that. We're gonna put that slightly further out of my reach. I almost did the artist thing. Hi, James. Oh, hi there. The Toby Bup emote. I hope people enjoy the Toby Bup emote. I was taking some photos the other night. Almost did. I grabbed the... It's fresh water, but the cup is kind of dubious, so that wouldn't have been the best thing. Yeah, so today we're going to be taking a look at the result of the 3D print from last time, because it's very satisfying and just is begging for a coat of paint. And I don't really have the mental space for much more than painting today, so that's okay. We're going to do some painting, and then I'm going to play some D&D later, and we're going to just kind of relax a little bit, I think. We're printing some stuff for my capstone project right now. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some testing. Sandy, welcome in. How you doing, friend? Yeah, we're going to be doing some testing tomorrow. We've got a test rig that we're going to do some force measurements on to make sure that we have the motors and the cylinders and everything all size appropriate to get the forces that we need. And with that size, then I can make sure I have my motors ordered. And once that's going, Sandy, thank you so much for the resub. 3 beautiful months together. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that and just your support in general. Yeah, we've done some mini painting on the stream before. However, look at this gorgeous thing. So this is what was on the printer yesterday, was these 3 pieces. And, like, this thing is just stunning. Like, look at this. I did take the time to pop the cap off of this thing, so I should actually be able to get a good focus on it if I fight with it. So we'll see what we can do. We'll make sure that that camera is nice and focused. I didn't have time to print a focus wheel for it, though. So, for anybody that's not familiar, a dice tower is the accessory everybody thinks they need, but nobody actually needs. So, what it is basically a ramp of some sort, some kind of tumble, stairs, sometimes it's opposing platforms, something that's going to toss something around a bit, and an output and an input. So, you take your dice, and you roll a 14. Or an 11. This is by far the nicest I've ever seen. Normally, like, I had yet to be... Oh, that's a good start for words today. I had yet to have seen a dice tower that made me go, wow, I need that, until I found this model, which was actually a free model that came off of a Kickstarter. Somebody was making these kind of models for... There were some really cool ones as part of the Kickstarter, but this is one. And for anybody that cares, it is made by a company called Mythic Roll. I'm not going to use their model without at least telling people that that is what exists. Very nicely made with considerations for filament 3D printing without looking obvious. So some super interesting stuff. So, like, for instance, this is a lovely staircase that goes all the way around, right? Now, most people, the way they would model that would basically be like this. It'd be a rectangle that sticks out on the side of the building, right? Now, that's generally not how we actually model things, actually build things in real life anyways. However, it's oftentimes how things get modeled at this type of situation. But you'll notice that they actually put these really lovely... I'm not sure what the term for this architectural feature would be, but basically put this lovely support here. And it's at such an angle that it basically supports this whole piece And the inside of here is all filleted and nice, so there is no actual crazy overhangs. Yes, this is indeed PLA. I do most of my printing with PLA. People say that it's not strong enough. Generally, it's just make sure your printer is getting good interlayer adhesion. There are some things other materials are needed for, like I printed in PETG quite often. PETG is a little bit better for impact resistance. Nylon, if you can actually print with it. My resin printer is actually, it's actually running at this exact moment. But as my kind of standard reference object that I pull out for, oh, that's a weird camera spot. Okay, there we go. This is kind of my general standard reference object that I use. Where are we in focus? Sort of. This is off my resin printer. And there is no evidence of any kind of layer lines or anything. Like, it's really, 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 really well done. Very nicely modeled. From one of my favorite book series. Don't know what's on them. I think maybe I didn't get all the resin off it when I washed it. I don't know, but that's okay. Resin I'll get eventually once I start making my pops. What is a pop in this context? All right. Oh, Funko Pops. Ah, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Oh no, I still would have been completely lost. Funko Pops are well outside of something that I have kind of looked at, so. There we go. That's reasonably in focus, and that's about where I want to work on it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this thing feels great in the hand, though. Like, it's only 5% infill, but because it's very thin profiles, again, optimized for filament printing. They tried to minimize the total volume and stuff like that. Something I never looked at. Yeah, you can actually watch it go down the stairs. That's fun. All right, so. Now, normally you should, theoretically at least, prime these for painting, realistically. I just generally tend to not bother for a lot of this mini stuff. Not because I, have any issues with primer. If I really, I'll usually use primer on resin prints. But I find, generally speaking, with PLA, it's pretty forgiving. You just might need a couple of coats, but if you start with a nice, highly pigmented paint, like artist quality acrylic here, usually it's pretty good. If I were going to put something under high use, then yeah, absolutely, I would, go through the process of priming it and on and on and on, all that other kind of nonsense. But this context, I really don't need to. I think that's kind of shifting on its own. Okay, I think we're good. And as far as the question I saw earlier in chat from James, as far as what I was doing in the kitchen, I was making some beef stew for later in the day. Because after stream, we're going to be playing D&D, and not going to have a whole lot of time to make dinner later. So we're just figured I'd get some dinner on the go, something that can sit there for the next 6-8 hours without needing any intervention, and it would be lovely. Ideally, I would have probably printed this in something like black. However, this does give me a good indication of where I have and haven't painted. This first coat is fully just to give the rest of my paint to stick on. Just gonna flat paint the whole thing, and Yeah, beef stew. I haven't had I haven't made a proper beef stew in quite a while, so our crop share gave us some good, some nice potatoes and carrots and stuff like that. So figured that would be a lovely thing to do. Now the inside is not going to be as highly painted as the rest of it, because I can't reach most of the inside. But I do want to make sure that at least if you were to kind of, the parts that you can generally see when in use, get covered up. How the camera handles the exposure on this object as we go along is going to be interesting, but we shall see. Where's my water? Especially on this first coat, don't be afraid to put a little bit of water on your brush. Help it get into all the nooks and crannies, especially if you haven't pre-primed it. I am a big fan of the gap-filling primer when painting. A crop shear is really fantastic. So generally you'll find them under the term CSA or crop share agreement. And generally the whole idea is during the winter, you give them a big chunk of money so that they can buy their seeds and they can look stable to the bank and all the other wonderful things that farmers can't do during the winter because they have no source of income. And then for the rest of the season, you get very highly discounted vegetables. So we got basically a cooler full of vegetables every week from pretty much the start of June until next week for, I think, $700 delivered to our house. And even if it works out roughly flat, for one, it shows up to your house in this case. Sometimes you got to pick them up. The place we wanted to use, you got to pick it up, but that's okay. But the other half of it is you don't really have control over what vegetables you're getting. So if you enjoy kind of messing around with different cuisines and you don't, you know, if you got like crazy food allergies or something, you know, it might not be the best thing, or you got to communicate that appropriately to them so they don't try and poison you. But you get different vegetables that you might not normally use. Like I almost never buy kale, for instance. Never buy kale. It's just not really my thing. I don't really like it as a green. But last year our crop share kept giving us kale, and as a result, I found out how lovely kale pesto is. So we'd just take the big bundles of kale they would give us, toss them in the food processor with some walnuts and some Parmesan and all that other good stuff, and make some kale pesto, which was fantastic. And I never would have made it, never found it, or figured out that that was a thing without the crop share. So, you know, you get that kind of benefit. Also, you know, if money is tight during the summer or during the fall, which, you know, depending on how that sits, you can actually save yourself a lot of money on groceries. And while it doesn't change the raw values of it, it does at least free up budget during the summer that you don't need to worry about, knowing that your fresh veggies are showing up every week, which is super great. Generally, most areas, unless you're in some really small area, you should be able to find, well, really small or really big. If you're nowhere near farmers, then you might have a hard time. We're kind of, we're in the city, but right by a major agricultural zone. So that made a big difference for us. And that was also true of where we were in Langley, but we never actually did get to, do a CSA out there. We just, things never lined up. We weren't paying attention when the signups opened. So, yeah, signups for those usually open up in like December or January or so. Again, it's meant to be that kind of midwinter, that winter infusion of cash. So, beef stew is fantastic cold weather food. We're supposed to be getting some slightly warmer weather this week, which will be should be kind of nice. But yeah, with this first coat, putting a little bit of water on isn't the worst thing because it'll help it wick down between the layers so you don't get an uneven looking coat of paint. And this being white means that anywhere that I missed really does completely stand out. So we can poke our way around. think I'm just going to change chairs entirely. One moment. Having 2 workstations means I have 2 chairs. And some days, one chair is better on my back than the other. Today, apparently that other one isn't working for my back. So, we're going to give this one a shot. A little stretch, a little water. And we're just going to get this on the go. I am not in the least concerned about what color anything else is going to be at this point. The only thing I might be mindful of is if I was planning on having something be pure white, putting black down obviously can be a bit of a tricky part. But like for instance, later on these components, there's going to be a bunch of metallics. But those metallics tend to show up better when they're put on top of a dark background anyways. Hey, Mom, welcome in. How you doing? Lyra got to mock someone. I read that, yes. Yeah, that's fantastic. What you making? I am painting a dice tower we printed on stream last time. So on Thursday, we 3D printed this dice tower. And I was so pleased with how it looked that I figured we'd spend today and possibly... Well, there's another piece I still have to print. So I might be working on this on Thursday. We'll see what schedule and assignments and stuff looks like. But this goes on here. So it is this lovely looking object. Yeah, Moth Mom. Yeah, so we 3D printed this. So you drop your dice in through the hole here. It tumbles down the staircase and then comes out the doorway down there, and then I put paint all over my desk. Good thing this is my workbench and not anything I actually care about. Star hubs. What's funny is my brain went to like star hub as in like the centralized location for something. And I was like, star hub of what? No. Star hub of star. Yeah, okay. Actually, that top camera might be a slightly better vibe for this large-scale painting. I know that the close-up camera is required for doing miniatures, but for this, I think we actually are working at a scale that the big camera makes more sense, which is exciting. I did take the time to pop the front off of the close camera so I can actually focus it, but yeah. Now ire, yeah, right? Had to go find their own identity, I suppose. I'm kind of excited though for our D&D game that we're going to be playing later. I actually reached out to another fantastic streamer, Allison from Insight Checked, who did the what was the term? Storycrafters. That's what it was. That Carrot and I did, where we did the bookbinding, and then we played Chaos and Counselors with them. I reached out to them because, as it currently stands, the kind of main antagonist for Carolyn's character's story is getting a bit more complicated, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And I wanted it to feel fair and also kind of a little bit more alive than I personally could think. So I reached out to Allison and I said, hey, would you be interested in playing offline asynchronously, running my bad guy? So basically gave them all the story and stuff they needed. And now, in between sessions, I'm going to give them the information that their character was able, the villain was able to collect that week about what's going on, and they're going to tell me what they think, or not what they think, what specifically the bad guy's going to do for calls it 4. Yeah, I mean, Carrot is kind of evolved out of all that. Like, I called Carrot before stream, and then it just kind of became like an online moniker, and it's been fantastic, and everybody's kind of gotten a chuckle out of it. And it also works really well from just kind of an online identity, because it's distinct, it's memorable, but it's also kind of gives you a little bit of privacy and a little bit of such if you want it. I mean, we haven't been particularly secretive about who we are, but that's a whole other thing. Gotta say, the fact that this thing is a big spiral is very satisfying to paint. Just slowly work the way up the tower. Very satisfying. The nice thing is, by the time I reach the top, I should be basically dry at the bottom. But we're gonna paint all of this, then we're gonna go over, paint those two, then we can come back and start doing some detailing on this guy. Yeah, it's funny, because this is very much a showpiece, and it's probably gonna end up... Actually, no, that's too tall. I'm probably gonna have to put a whole new shelf somewhere up back there so I can put it on, because I almost never play in-person D&D. All the people I like playing D&D with are all online, unfortunately. So we gotta play some in-person D&D when friends are traveling through the area. Gonna be playing some in-person D&D in a couple of weeks, I'm sure. But posture check. Ugh. I'm trying. Back is a bit sore today. I imagine it's probably good to be back in your own bed there, Mom. Sort of started a D&D game with 4 of her friends. Not serious with dice rolls yet. I do have one shot I'll be doing with them. First time DMing. Scary stuff. I asked if it's nice to be back in your own bed again after so long away. The first time DMing is always super scary, but if you just walk in with the intention of telling a good story and have fun, that's it. It's a good time. Like, that's the whole thing, right? Is like, make sure you're having a good time, make sure everyone else is having a good time, and make sure that whatever you're doing serves the story, and it'll be good. Life is all happy, Because like, the big thing to always remember is like, whatever system you're using, we'll say D&D for an example. D&D isn't a game, right? Like, it's specifically not. Like, if you look at the rules books, it's not a game. It's a set of rules and agreed upon boundaries, but there's no game there, right? The game is specifically what you create with your DM, with the rest of your party, and how you put it all together. So take what you want, leave what you don't. And, you know, if something comes up that's weird and you don't know how to rule it, make a temporary ruling and say, we're going to look it up later. Move on. Or if you think a ruling is dumb, it doesn't matter what the internet says. Doesn't matter what anybody else says or thinks. You are the person that's right. Adventurers Guild kind of thing. Fairy tale. Nice. Very nice. There we go. All right. Getting actually really close to finishing the base coat on this guy, which I'm really happy with. There is a whole other piece, and I had printed it overnight, but I ran out of filament, so I'm kind of upset about that. This is the whole other piece. So this will sit like that on there. But ran out of filament. But what you can do when you run out of filament like this, depending on the nature of the object and stuff, in this instance, it's going to be a thing. So I just measured this height, this offset, cut that off my model, and I've got another file ready to go to print. Oh, hey, buddy.
We're getting a free Toby time because I just want to... he won't let me check his paw. Sorry, people.
Hey, bud. Hi, come here. Up. Up. Come on.
It's his bat. It's this paw, right?
Yeah,
Or,
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, buddy. Hey, Smoosher.
Right. Can you balance for a second, baby? Can you balance? Can you do balance? I can't. Yeah.
Hold on. Go that way.
Hi. Hey, Tobes. Hey, baby. Toby, right here. Hi. Hi.
One moment, please.
Sorry, guys.
Should look reasonably good. He would probably even put the boot off.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Right. Sandy, thank you for the gift sent to Nightbot.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, buddy.
You had a really good treat day, my friend.
Up.
Have you unmolded your dice yet?
Yeah, I showed them to you earlier.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but I have not put anything else in. Bricks with Justin, welcome in. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, bud. Yeah,
Yep,
I left the molds empty.
It's been about 5 minutes. Yes, you are correct.
Hi, bud. Hey. Did you have a little play?
Did.
Yeah.
We had a little bit.
You had a little play
And
with your
then-
best friend?
And then a rabbit jumped out from underneath the deck.
With the two of them out?
The two of them out there.
Oh my god.
Here's the thing, though. That
That's
could
a
have gone,
kamikaze rabbit.
that could have gone really badly because the Layla was at the far corner of the far side of the deck, so she had extra space to go, and of course she's not speedy.
Mm-hmm.
He was distracted by Layla. I don't think he actually ever realized there was a rabbit in the backyard.
Oh, thank God. Two apex predator in the backyard.
Yeah. So Layla started booking it, and Toby basically body checked her because he thought that she was just coming over to play. And the rabbit beat them to the fence by half a yard. It was not close, I'll say that. It looks really good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It
My God, that rabbit, absolute death wish.
Yeah, with two
Two apex predators rolling around the backyard, you're gonna make your break for it.
Yep. And I mean, Layla flushed it out, I'll say that. She was over there, basically, you know how there's that little bit of that, hole where, the drain pipe is?
Yeah.
She was shoving her face in that. She flushed the rabbit out. Sorry, for those of you who are new to this stream, we have our deck seems to be, the favorite place for a whole pile of rabbits, and I'm very sorry to the person with all the rabbit emotes in the chat. Our dog has killed one of them, and he has been very, very, very close on a lot of others, because unfortunately he's a husky, and his prey instincts are even though he is not an apex predator, he thinks he is. So, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Jones.
Sorry, Grace.
Yeah. Anyways. Alright. I'm gonna go do dicey things, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Molds are empty.
Exactly.
The pressure pot overnight went from 50 down to 35 over the course of about 16 hours. So I gotta test it. Not the small one, but the new one.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm like pump that thing up to 50.
Oh God, no. The new one, the metal one, the one that the wonderful supporters in the chat right now made possible.
Nature is a thing. Thank you. Yes. But
Thanks for hanging out, Mom.
anyways.
But yeah, so should be able to use the new pressure pot soon. Might be using it to do dice molding first, though.
Okay. So use the.
Yeah, just use the normal one. Yeah. Yeah, I'll run you through how to use the other one later. Yeah, nature is the thing. You'd swear that we never fed Toby with how hard he goes after nature, but you know, it is what it is. And they told us that when we were getting him, that he has a very high prey drive. We actually had to sign a paper saying that we'd never have him off leash in an unfenced area because we likely would never see him again. I always do really enjoy these painting streams. They're technical and they're focused and they require, you know, I pay attention to what I'm doing, but they don't really take a whole lot of brain power. So it's kind of nice when you're having a bit of a rough brain day. Nice to be able to do this. Kind of forces you to focus and not have a ton of thoughts, which is nice. You need a kissy in your cauldron. Can you do it? Not quite, eh? Not quite. Oh, I just realized I could do a thing. Sorry, I just thinking about the drop game and then buttons that I have access to. I set myself up. Actually, there's a couple of people here who haven't seen it. I set this up for myself, which is super awesome and exciting. And that's using a piece of software called Lyra Board 2, or Sammy, depending on whether or not you accept their new brand direction. And I was super afraid of it for the longest time. Thought it was super interesting, but didn't think I was going to be able to make it work. And then over the between Saturday and Thursday, I took the time and installed it and saw what kind of it would take. And it actually was really straightforward and easy to set up, which was phenomenal. And one of the things I did set up was a Q drop button, because it just sends a command in chat. But the big thing that always happens is whenever I set a Q drop, I always forget to run the start drop command. Roth did need some salt. Master Damon, welcome in. Hey, that actually worked. Cool. Sorry, I think you might have actually been the first person to test the new raid system that I set up. So welcome in. Hope your stream was good. Hope you had a lovely time. And welcome in, Aura. Ferris Noir, welcome in. How you doing today? But yeah, sorry, I'm actually really pleased with myself. My new raid system I set up on the thing that we were just talking about. When a raid comes in, it drops the welcome command and switches to my headcam, and it worked. So, cool. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the Ko-fi link though. Sorry about that. Apparently I grabbed the corner of my tablet. Let's switch back over to here for now. Today we are painting a little dice tower. So we 3D printed this last stream. So there's the base of that. And then this goes on the top. And then you drop your dice in there and it rolls them out the other side. And I have to repair this, but there's the base. So it's going to be a little rocky courtyard that sits on it. Should be really fun. I really like the model. It's super pretty. So figured that was... Good
one or bad one?
That's the bad one.
Okay, sweet. Killing it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't hear me scream. It was in my hair.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. You know when you touch your head and all of a sudden something moves?
Yeah.
That.
Sorry, Carolyn just came by with, apparently a bug they found in their hair. Which, never a fun time to begin with. But specifically to confirm whether or not it was, what the bug was, because in this area, we have a small number of ladybugs, and we have a large number of the Japanese lady beetle. And they look very, very similar, but the Japanese lady beetle spot pattern is different, and the shell color is a bit different, and the Japanese beetle is super invasive. The invasive stinky ones, exactly. So she was just confirming with me that that was indeed the invasive stinky one before, because if it was the good one, it's put it outside. If not, well, that you picked the wrong hair to get stuck in. Yeah, as I was saying right before Metro came in, I was talking about how I realized with the Q drop button that I've set up, I can actually set it up as a timer command that I press the Q drop, and then after a set fixed amount of time, it just runs the start drop for me, and I don't need to remember to do that, because the last time I pressed that button, it was like 15 minutes before I actually dropped, which is pretty much the case of every time I've ever done Q drop. I always forget that the thing exists. Taking events plants, now we got bugs. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of. Also, one of the big problems is the one of the major crops that Japanese lady beetles really like is soy. And well, what's one of the most profitable cash crops right now? Soy. So, thank you so much for the follow. So the big problem is the soy crops are getting screwed up by this invasive species. Hey, there you go. Heart matching the color of the broth. It's green, that was the reason. Oh no, the piggy boop doesn't stand a chance. I have not been around any time that the hype drain's been set up to do the piggy boop thing. It's part of why I set up the Toby Boop emote. Pops just sent Piggy into the pot. The pork stew now. let's leave that. We'll continue working with our hand inside the tower for now. Gotta get the crenellations there, make sure we handle all that. Alright. It's actually going a little bit quicker than I was anticipating. Painting an object this large generally takes quite a while. And obviously we haven't even started on coloring, detailing, or anything, but just it's a lot of surface area to cover. Put myself in a little closer to the desk so I can actually do this without leaning over. Try not to fry my back. It's already a little upset today, so. Back's killing me from streaming so long this week. Major pains. Yeah, you went full marathon stream last night. How long did you end up going for? I ended up going to bed before, and I forgot to check whether or not you were still live, but last I checked, you were going for like 5+ hours. 6.5 hours and you finished it. Oh, wow. That is intense. Yeah, I don't know what my longest stream I've done so far is, but I think it's well short of that. I think maybe 4 or 5 hours might be the top I've done. I was thinking about doing some co-work studying streams here in the near future. Stream Fortnite for 8. Wow. That's a game I've literally never played. Never once. I know a lot of people who really like it, but I think part of the problem for me is I just generally don't like playing multiplayer games unless I'm specifically playing with friends. Like, competitive multiplayer games just don't... just don't tend to like the competitive multiplayer games. I like cooperative games more than competitive games. Partly because I'm just not a very competitive person. Partly because I genuinely don't have the time, motivation, or effort to give to actually get good enough at a game to make going online worthwhile. So we aren't going to concern ourselves much about this top lip, but we are going to go down into the staircase once the outside is nicely dried. Because this top lip is going to get covered by these two pieces over here. How are we doing? How's this looking? Couple of pieces on the stairs that got missed. Got to be careful with this first coat though, because if it's mostly tacky and you go back, you can actually displace it before it's fully cured, and then you end up with a bit of a mess. So you got to be careful. But yeah, the chair I'm sitting in currently is one of the gaming chairs that was given to me. It's pretty good actually. Better than I thought it was going to be. Still not ideal for super long sessions, but I've got 2 chairs in here. Like I said, 2 workstations, 2 chairs. Also allows me to have people over without having to make a whole process of it. And we can get all of that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, we're going to set that this way up. I think this paint here is dry, but I'm not 100% certain, so we're just not going to screw with that. Ugh. So looking at the textures on this, like this part here is very clearly wood grain. Then we got some riveted metal and stuff like that. I think the top of this is going to be predominantly done in metallics and then wood tones. But both wood tones and metallics tend to look better with the dark base than the light base. So we're kind of putting an undercoat here, partially to give the lighter pigmented color something to grab onto. And then partially to help provide contrast that the metallics need to actually shine. Because like the metallic paints don't have a very high pigment load, so trying to cover up this white doesn't work super well. But if you put a metallic paint on a super dark background, it tends to work and look much, 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 much better. And require far fewer coats to achieve the same effect. Which is kind of nice. Yeah, I really like this chair just for the adjustability of like being able to change the angles of different stuff. One of the things that's really great for it is when I'm having a rough day and kind of tired mid-study, I can just kick the backrest out, put my feet up on the desk, and actually have a fully horizontal nap at my desk without having to go upstairs, and it's nice that way. Lets me kind of, you know, probably not what they intended. I know I shouldn't do it, but less disruptive, and it also, if I only need like 2 or 3 minutes, because sometimes that's all you need. Thanks for the lurk, Grace. Much appreciated. We got a little surface roughness on the inside here, but that's okay. That's, first of all, a very not visible location. And secondly, it's so minor that it doesn't bother me in the least. Really pleased with how my printer performed on this print, though. I haven't done anything full build height in a while, like a long while. So the fact that it kind of managed to do so, I think I understand. Not good for my spine or glutes currently. I think I need something much thicker. Yeah, I mean, we got, early COVID, we got some of those gel cushions for the seats. And Carrot still uses theirs. I found that it wasn't super great for me, but Carrot really likes theirs. So that might be a cheaper option you could look into. One of the, like it's like a hexagonal, like silicone thing in a cloth bag. Really squishy and very quite comfortable to sit on. But it does obviously change your height relationship with the chair, which was for me the bigger problem. Yeah, you can get them on Amazon or similar for, you know, 20-30 bucks. Saves you from, because like any office chair worth buying is usually going to be north of $150-200. Anything less is going to be a stopgap, and that's terrible, but kind of a little bit more the reality than we want to really admit. Don't really need to paint all of this socket, but I'm going to do so, partially so that I can pull the telescope off when I want, and partially because this paint is going to provide a really nice friction with the telescope piece, which means that it shouldn't actually come off very easily. After the testing that we're going to be doing tomorrow, we were originally going to do it tonight, but some design pieces got pushed back, and not all the pieces are fully ready for a test. So the test we're going to be running tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to, because if all goes well, it's going to validate our entire design and say, hey, we're in the right range, this is all going to be good, and we'll be happy, and things are going to be great. At which point I can order my motors that I already have spec'd out and get those in, and I can do my full craft development platform and start working on the closed loop flight control and all that stuff for my capstone. Worst case scenario is we find out that the premise of how we were planning on designing this is a failure and we can't generate enough lift. Well, that's a completely different problem. Because like we got 4 rotating cylinders, we're going to be testing 1, and our whole craft, we're aiming to have it somewhere in the 2.5 to 3 kilo range. So if we call that 4 kilos, ideally we get 1 kilo of lift out of each cylinder, because that 2.5 3 kilos, that'd leave us enough leftover lift to actually get control out of the platform, and that would be good. Oh, didn't realize how thirsty I was there. Much better. Much better. These streams are always nice for me though, because they're really nice lurky streams. I just gotta kind of hang out and chat. Don't need to worry about technical accuracy. Don't need to worry about screwing something up or people getting bored because I have to do a different task for a while. This is it. This is what we're doing today. So what will the larger pressure pot let you do? Well, first of all, I would like to say thanks to the support of people like you, we were able to actually make that happen. So first of all, the larger pressure pot will let us cast more dice at once. That's cool. Not necessarily a super big benefit. We already have probably 20 or 30 sets that are waiting to be finished outside of the castings that we've done. But more specifically, it will allow us to... actually, no. Being able to do more than one set at a time is beneficial because it will allow us to do weirder techniques that take more time without preventing the casting of other dice. That's one of the big things. Secondly, it'll allow us to go to higher pressures. The pressure pot we're currently using is one that I personally designed using PVC plumbing parts. PVC specifically over ABS, because ABS, when it breaks, it explodes and shatters. PVC will stretch and deform. So if you overpressurize PVC, it'll balloon, stretch, and break. If you overpressurize ABS, it will explode like a bomb. So that's one of the big things. Slightly safer. We've actually been casting with that for a while, so I'm not worried about that. But we can only go up to about 30 psi peak, and we realistically only cast our dice at about 22 psi, which crushes the tiny bubbles and stuff like that out of them. And that works reasonably well. But ideally, you actually pressurize your dice to somewhere in the 40 psi range. And as a result of that, you can get clearer dice more reliably with less issues. And because we have a larger volume, we'll be able to actually kind of mess around with some of the techniques we've been wanting to, but like the granite dice that I did, that I showed off yesterday. Somewhere. There. Like these guys here, you know, this was 3 casts. This took basically 3 separate casts of mix, cast, pressurize, depressurize, mix, cast, pressurize, depressurize, mix, cast, and then put it on again. So this took 3 pouring cycles, which completely tied up the pressure pot. Given it was a little bit warmer, it basically tied it up for, I think it was about 26 hours to cast this set of dice. That's a bit of a problem, because obviously we want to make other dice and everything like that. If we had a bigger pot with more than one mold, we'd be able to do weird sets of dice like this without it being this big massive process, because you would just add on to it while you're doing the other one. It would also let us do, like the Northern Lights set, for instance, was super popular. People really wanted it, and found that was very desirable, and fair enough. It's a really pretty set. What it would allow us to do is actually go in and say, all right, well, this is a cool set. Let's take 4 molds and cast up 4 sets of this that look consistent and have a reliable vibe that people are looking for. Because every time you mix colors, you're never going to get the same color twice. You can get close, but you're never going to get identical colors, right? So like those Northern Lights set that were up on the store that Carrot made, that's it. We will never make that exact set of dice again. We can try. We're going to try. We're gonna make similar dice, but that specific layer, that specific color, all the other details, very, very hard to do set over set. So if you're doing multiple sets at the same time, it allows you to mix up more resin, which makes the system a little bit more stable. And then it also allows you to be really consistent with your coloring.
I got distracted and
I
didn't ever actually make it to the dice.
No.
Which I'm about to go do now, but hearing you say that, I know exactly what I'm about to cast.
Gonna make some Northern Lights?
I'm absolutely gonna make some Northern Lights, but I might make it with...
Because you did it with Mylar last time, right? It was purple and green and Mylar?
I did it with like the flaky Mylar, not
the flakes.
not the
Okay.
ribbon. Yeah, because they kind of shard in an interesting way.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very pretty set.
I might do it with a slightly lighter green this time and see what happens. Well, I don't know, because it nudges from light to dark really fast.
It does, yeah. And one of the other problems with resin casting, for the people watching right now, is that the color the dyes are in the resin sometimes match the resin color that they come out as, and sometimes they don't. It depends entirely on the specific dye you're working with, because sometimes they look very, very, very different. Like one of the, what is it, a purple that we have looks almost green. Which one is that one?
The peacock blue is.
Oh yeah, peacock blue. Yeah, it's a peacock blue, and it is a peacock blue, and it's a lovely shade of blue, but it looks violently green when you use it, which makes you nervous. Obviously, makes it a little bit harder to trust what's going to come out the other side. So it also makes it harder to estimate what's going on, which is why a lot of dice makers will they'll have a formula book of like, for this volume, I used X number of drops of this color and X number of drops of that color, and I mixed it for this amount of time. And
honestly, I need to start doing that, because I used to be able to keep them all in my head and be like, oh, this is my thing, but nope.
Too many dice now.
Too many dice in my head now. But I think I'm literally gonna go and
grab a notebook.
I'm literally gonna that too, and I'm gonna go cast one for sure.
Fair enough. Sounds lovely. But it actually just so happens that the Dice Shop launch happened to coincide with a sale on one of the major components of the pressure pot system that we wanted to do. Which basically meant that not only did we actually have the justifiable funds for it, we actually had slightly better deal on it than we were anticipating, which is super cool and fantastic, and very, very, very pleased with that. I think I'm going to do the lens of this in a like a lighter blue color. So I'm still going to cover this, but very lightly. I just want to give everything else something to stick to, but it's only going to be a very thin coat on this part. And while it probably looks all the same in person, on camera, in person it looks a little bit different. So move that over there. All right, this is marginally sticky. A couple of spots that are still have kind of pools of paint on them. Let's just knock those down a little bit. Yeah, this is where, you know, like spray can primer and stuff like that is nice, because obviously that allows you to get a more even coat than you can do with your own hands. But that's okay. We do want to make sure that we knock down all of these kind of larger pools, because obviously those will also harden into different textures than what we desire. Because if we wanted a big blob somewhere, probably would have put it into the model rather than trying to put it on with paint. Yeah, Sandy, you were talking about custom Funko Pops. It's kind of funny. Clever and I were literally talking about that when they were out for the visit over the other week, and they were saying how apparently Kaz really likes the Funko Pops, and how he'd really love to get one that looks super cursed. And I'm like, well, you can make. I'm like, there's a whole community of people that make custom ones. And we could like paint it to look like a hee-hee and do the whole, make it look really crazy. Which then ended up leading into the conversation of whether or not hee-hee is a predator or prey for forward-facing or side-facing eyes. So if you saw that train of thought, that came out of that conversation, you're welcome. The pretty much unanimous agreement was that hee-hee is very much a predator. No chance that he is prey. You have a few hundred. Oh my. Wow. I think they're neat, but I don't know. I think they're neat. I don't think they are cool enough in my personal, like, for my personal collection, I don't think they're cool enough for the space they would take up. But that is not to say I don't appreciate the people who do really like them. I like the people that like them because they're cool, because of the visual and everything like that. There's a number of people that have convinced themselves that these are going to have substantial value years and years and years. Yeah, take them out of the box and display them. I know tons of people, well, I don't personally know. I know there are tons of people who keep them in the box and like keep them out of light and storing them for, you know, some time, years down the road when they're worth tons of money. Very much Beanie Babies is what it honestly reminds me of. It's like, Beanie Babies were cool. There were some really fantastic designs. There were also people that were convinced that they were going to make their fortune if they could just hold on to them long enough. But don't think that's a very likely outcome. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe I'm completely off base. But I don't know. Yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of extra space is the big thing. And, I mean, part of the fact is, like, I've moved around so much that the stuff that I do like hanging on to usually has quite a bit of meaning for me. There are vaulted pops that are expensive, but it's not really an investment hobby. Yeah, some people treat it like that, which is, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I know I'm poking at some very sensitive topics for people that are actually into that hobby, so we'll... But for me, the big thing is, like, I've moved so many times that for me to maintain a collection of something, it usually has to be something meaningful, right? Something that I actually put a lot of value in. Yeah, the hurricane stuff is wild. You guys got really beat up there. Yeah, like, for me, most of the stuff that I really hold on to and care about and stuff are usually a lot of tools. Stuff that I've used for my various hobbies. Stuff that's near and dear to kind of our relationship. You know, various games and pictures and stupid stuff that Carrot and I have given each other over the years. That stuff is all very important to me. But a lot of other stuff kind of falls in that other category where it's like, it's here for now, but if we move away, then it's probably going to end up at somebody else's house, you know? Like, I know I'm going to be going through a bunch of stuff once I have the chance and paring things down. Don't need the inside of this to look super pretty, but I do want it to not be white. Since you'll be able to see into it from the dice drop hole and the couple of windows that are available here. We're going to do what we can to try and cover the inside of this so it's... I'm using 3D printing to make statues and busts and figures. Yeah. One of my favorite projects, actually, is one known as Scan the World. And it's this open source project that's basically going around and trying their best to 3D scan in high resolution any notable pieces of sculpture or architecture or otherwise. And you can actually, when combined with the 3D printer, print off little copies of really famous and fantastical statues, and even some not so famous statues, because they'll go through like an entire museum's collection and just scan everything that's on display. And need to figure out how I can find someone to scan an existing figure so I can enlarge it. It's a custom, so an STL won't exist. So there are scan an existing so you can enlarge it. There are some softwares that you can actually do. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I think I actually have it bookmarked. Let me go look. I think I actually have one bookmarked from a recent discussion I had about it. No. Oh, I think I might have found it. Think I might have found it. Here you go. Don't need Fiverr. You should actually be able to get away with it that way. If you're not afraid of a little bit of 3D software, you can basically import a point map using a video to 3D model app, and then you might just need to clean it up to create a continuous surface, and you'll have your part in full color scan. Honestly, most 3D software is pretty straightforward. There's a lot of tutorials out there for them, so it's not generally too bad. Your first CAD might be a bit rough, but honestly, once you've learned one CAD software, picking up your next one takes about half the time. The next one after that takes about a quarter of the time. At this point, you could probably put me in front of most CAD software, and I could figure out basic modeling in maybe 20 minutes without any tutorials, most likely. Unless it's got some really particularly obtuse design. The Meshroom. I'm not sure if I've actually heard about Meshroom. But not working with AMD graphics is an unfortunate thing. I've always found those kind of limitations interesting because I don't know enough about computer graphics to understand why that's a thing. Because like I understand that AMD and Intel do things slightly differently, but from a functionality standpoint, it's hard for me to understand why one can do a thing different than the other. Like I don't fully understand. But that is more of a lack of my knowledge and lack of caring to actually look it up, really. Like, I'm sure that somebody out there has done a description of why something or other can't do the thing that the other one can, but it's an interesting problem for sure. Getting down to the last little areas we can actually realistically reach with our brush here. So we'll see how far down we can go. Then we'll probably go down to the door and see how far up we can go, but I don't think that's going to be very far. Still no audio, but I needed to do another listen. Fair enough. I totally appreciate that. I haven't had the opportunity to actually sit down and listen to Danny's album yet. I desperately want to listen to it with a set of headphones on, though. I think that's what I'm going to be doing while I'm studying later. Got an energy systems midterm this coming week, and I am woefully underprepared for it at the moment. But that is, woefully underprepared is kind of the motto of engineering degrees. Yet somehow we still managed to make it through, so I have walked into very few exams where I felt completely prepared for. But I managed to do pretty well through my degree, so I must be doing something right. Don't know if I could listen while studying. I mean, that's fair. I usually listen to, like, Critical Role and that kind of stuff while I'm studying. More for the conversation and stuff, but just for the background. The first listen through probably won't be as productive as I would like it to be, but, you know. It is what it is. Only so much you can do, right? Yeah, not a problem. I hope that it provides you what you need, and especially with the cost of free. I mean, if you have the time to explore it, it's definitely worth it. This brush is just such an awkward diameter for this particular task, so we are going to swap out brushes to something a little smaller. I'm going to keep this one on standby because we do need to do more with that yet, but grab one with a slightly smaller slightly smaller ferrule on it. This one, Would it be better? Oh yeah, got a lot more space with that. Much motion they had, not conducive to productivity, but maybe after like 100 lessons. Fair enough. Yeah, I was listening to some of the stuff last night and it sounded fantastic. I didn't get to hang around as long as I wanted to, but I was just absolutely bagged. I was too tired to keep pretending like I didn't want to go to sleep. So alright, can we see any white from where we are dealing with? Tip that right up you can, but I don't think that I really care, because this angle is pretty much going to be impossible to see once we actually have the base on it. Change CUDA to OpenCL. Give me one moment so I can actually quickly look up what the heck you're talking about, and then I might be able to intelligently engage with you, because I have no idea what. Like, I know what those words mean independently, but I don't actually really know what that whole sentence means as a combination of things. Alright. First of all, let's go quickly see what in the world I'm remembering. Programmatic Alice Vision. Okay. Computer Vision Framework. Okay, so it's part of that situation. Okay, photo processing, read, sure. That all makes sense. NVIDIA, but there's a fork of the project, should support OpenCL, AMD. Fair enough. Thank you for breaking that out, I appreciate that. Da-da-dum. One moment. Alright, just quickly clearing something up on my end here. One moment, we'll get right back into the painting. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that is looking lovely. Nice and even. All happy days. Now I need to figure out what I want the rest of this thing to actually look like. Because I could obviously do the whole thing in weathered stone, but I think this outside rim should get some kind of treatment. So the question is that, is it just a different kind of stone? Is it more of like a marble or something on top of the regular piece? How would I highlight that to make it more interesting? Over there. Bro, welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you for dropping that Ko-fi link. That's a completely ridiculous emote, and I love it. And I see you also changed your little drop buddy in between streams. Are you gonna do it? Hey, there you go. Nice land. Okay, so we got that. This one pretty much dry. I think I'm gonna put that to the side for now because I actually know what I want this piece to look like. I'm not 100% sure what I want that one to look like yet. But this is very much like a mechanics kind of piece. Chosen multiple and it picks random. Well, that's fancy. That's super fancy. One moment. Just quickly seeing if I can find the reference image of the people that made this. No, not so much, eh? Okay. Yeah, so... Let's see, can we drop this thing together? Oop. This goes on there. And this is what we're working with so far. Which is super freaking cool. Very, very pleased with how this print came out. Let's see, is there a fully colored render of this thing? Oh, see, that's a pretty take on it. So currently, I'm just looking at just currently looking at this, looking at what other people have done. Yeah, we got follower emotes, and Grays did that fantastic Robo Moth for my terrible mic that keeps doing that weirdness. But so this is the base files that we are dealing with. So this is what I downloaded. This here. This is what we're printing. Well, that's not what's on the printer right now. We printed all but the absolute base. The base having, Rue, thank you so much. 9 months. A tubby baby bip. That is fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate that so very... Yeah. Really appreciate that. Thank you. We're currently just trying to figure out what paint scheme we want to use for our dice tower. We've been painting our primary model. We've put down a base coat and just kind of trying to figure out what's going on. I'm doing all right today. Having a bit of a rougher brain day. Not too terrible, but overall, actually pretty decent. So this is the model that we're working with. And I was just looking up, like, see what other people have done with it. So this is from one of the creators. They kind of went with the dark brooding theme. But then looking down at the community prints tab, you can see what other people have done. And this one's pretty cool. They took a flexi dragon and wrapped it around, but went with a light theme and the brass and the wood and everything, which is more what I have in my brain. Yeah, I've actually seen that print, and I think I've been wanting to do that print for a while. But I really like the look of the kind of the white tower with, like, this is, I think this is closer to what I was anticipating in my head for what I saw. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to be aiming. So we're going to grab... Oh, pardon me. No, that is my mini factory. And I will grab the link for the model that we're working on. Oh my god, Zombie! Hi! Oh, hi there. How's it going? Yeah, my mini factory. Really fantastic if you want highly detailed models. Really, really good. I used it quite a bit when I was doing miniatures and such like that. There's a really good solid breakdown of free models, but if you are looking for something really, really specific, it's a great place to go to get a model not too terribly expensive. You did not miss the towering. We are currently, we just finished doing our kind of primer coat, and we were just looking at how we want to, lay everything out. So, we do this, and that, come on. Put that there. You can see, this is what we're looking at, which is super pretty. Very, very pleased with how the print came out. And when you drop your dice in the top, comes out the back, and that's a 3. That's not super great. A 9 and a 1. That's not super good rolls with advantage. A 3 and a 2. Apparently these dice don't want to roll well. 10 and a 15. 12 and a 1. Alright. To jail! To jail with you! I mean, I suppose it would depend on your D4. Let's find out. Where's my dice bag? Meh. I mean, people don't generally roll their damage dice through towers. I know some tables actually make a thing of this, and they, like, some tables have actually mandated their use so players can't cheat when they roll, which is a little bit stupid to me.
Yes, there's a lot of cheating in our game.
Right? Trying to see if I can influence the roll here. Oh. I got stopped in the bottom.
Do you know where the clear version of this stuff is?
It should be over there, I thought.
I don't know if I'm just blind.
I thought it was there. I mean, that should be in the back. But, one moment while I search around for things.
Pretend to be you for 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm absolutely covering this D4 in paint, though. I think it would probably work. Let me drop one of my D4s in there. See if that... It's a bit weird. Rolling damage dice in a tower is probably not going to be the best thing. Rolling D4s is already tricky even when you're using your hand, so... But there are also different configurations of them, so some of them are just opposing platforms that go like Plinko, back and forth, and those would probably work pretty well. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go take a look for some glitter stuff. I will be right back.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Hi. Kate, welcome in. Oh, there's so much on here. What is this? There it is. Yes, no? Hi. Oh no. Gosh darn it. Hi. Hi. I'm currently sending Mothman on a hunt here for I'm gonna press things. This. So there is this amazing, really crazy glitter stuff, but there is a set that is clear and it's been hiding from me for freaking weeks at this point in time. So I'm currently sending Mothman. He seems to always find it and I can't find it. So it's been that moment of like, okay, I need some help. So drop. Let's do that. No? Apparently I apparently have dead fingers. This thingy doesn't seem to want to respond to my fingers at all. I'm also not going to mess with his camera setup because of course I'm just short. But hi. I hope that this has been a lot of fun to watch as I pull a piece of Toby fur off of this. Yeah. Oh, look at that. You're welcome, Cole. Oh. I know, right? It's rigged. Either that or it's like, oh, yeah, Carrot did it, so we'll do that. But I hope everybody's having a lovely, lovely Saturday.
Let's get back there.
Amazing. Okay, I feel. What is it? What's a nice drop? Oh my god. You landed for 96, by the way. And you know what else is a nice drop? Apparently our dice are... But yes.
Too funny.
Yes, I am currently, so half the reason that I am currently, smooth like butter. The thing that I am currently looking for in regards to the glitter that I'm currently invested in is so that I can cast, a very specific set of dice, which of course is the Northern Lights dice. And like I can do it with that other Mylar. It's a little bit easy. I like the way this other one kind of like gets this really crazy like shard kind of look. So, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Things are happening. Erner. Is this the platform for the thing?
Yeah, that ran out of filament halfway through the night.
Yeah, I think it was about 6. And I'm just, nah. I know, 1 or 2. I am very overwhelmed. I've got, yeah. Thank you so much for the alert, Kitty. Sorry, I've completely just derailed his stream by making him hunt for glitter.
You're good.
Thank you. It's, like, legitimately speaking, it's one of the... We have a detour account over here?
Yes.
No! Is that specifically for me, or is that also for you?
Yes.
I feel seen.
And personally attacked?
Yep, Zan also responded with just a yes. What was I gonna say? I've got a way that I can do a thing.
More annoyed that I can't find it right now.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, no, we're still very, very overwhelmed. It's, you know, as I mentioned elsewhere, like we never. Thank you. Literally, no one expects the multi-talented to stay on track, Cole. So, yeah, I am very, very, very all over the place. In which case, I am very talented.
You are very talented, actually.
Oh. It's not in one of these boxes. No dice stuff is under here anymore, right?
Shouldn't be.
Okay. Okay. I will go and take a look. I think I know what I can do. But yeah, no. Realistically speaking, I think I said this somewhere else that like Cole and I never started making dice with the intent to actually sell them. So the fact that people want them is just kind of yeah. And the fact that like the want and the sell and the stuff and the thing, yeah. Anyways, I'm wording really well today. This bodes really well for game time. So, all right.
Carrot isn't going to be present. It's going to be Waylocket.
Okay.
All
right.
Maybe check the table upstairs. It might have made its way upstairs somehow.
Well, awesome. Oh,
Check. Here.
So I got it. You go back to stream. Was that beep bop?
I don't know what that beep bop was. I don't like random beep bops.
Neither do I.
Oh, bye.
Yes. Sorry, just to wander off in the middle of it.
I have buttons that do stuff. I got a very sarcastic reaction from Franco finding out they have their own button too. It's great. I also have that button. I don't have a dedicated button for that one, but I do have that button as well. But yeah, I think we're going to try and go for something of that vibe. Something a little bit lighter colored with kind of the, like, old school lighthouse kind of vibe. Yeah, going to steal somebody else's paint job. Yeah, because there's a variation of it here. I just wish I could rotate somebody else's picture. I don't like what they did with this. But yeah, I think they did a really nice job. Oh, there we go. There's a full-size image of that. That's even better. Perfect. That's what I wanted. I think I cut it off even more for you because I cropped the top of my, my image so that you didn't end up staring at all my bookmarks and web bar and everything, just for, you know, general internet safety stuff. There we go. Let's bring that back until I can figure out where that top bar is. About 100. Okay, cool. 100 pixels. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're going to be aiming for. That's pretty good. So... there is no safety on the interwebs. You're right. But there is things that are explicitly more unsafe than others. Just because you can never be completely safe on the internet doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. I don't know if the... oh, never mind. There it is. There was the copper I grabbed. Used to be safer on the interwebs as a teen than lately. I mean, at a certain point, you're just kind of like, nah. Like, there are certain parts where it's like, being on the internet and telling somebody, like, the city I live in, like, that's weird, but at the same time, like, I wear my university merch. You've got my Instagram link. You've got all that stuff. Very quickly, you could very easily put together the city I live in. Very easily. Like, I am not secretive about the school I go to, which also means that being secretive about my city doesn't make sense. That, however, does not mean that I'm going to be telling people what my personal address is, because that is a very different thing. You can see what I was talking about earlier with the metallics showing up much better on a dark background. So if I just take this and spread it across the white there, almost nothing shows up. Put it on that black background though, and that pigment really pops. But yeah, yeah, I tend not to show photos of like generally the outside of the house overall. It's like, let's be honest, most people do not have the skills or desire to do something. However, the ones that would are the ones that you very much don't want to have that information. So, we're mindful about that. And we're also aware that, you know, what's safe today might not be safe tomorrow. So we're trying our best to kind of have forward-thinking policies on that kind of stuff. Only hands. Having met Greys, I can confirm that they are in fact made up of only 2 hands and 1 forearm. Sandy already knows too much. I have to go get some other paints and stuff for the rest of this, but I'm very happy with this part being a nice copper. Yeah, generally you want to paint your most detailed to your least detailed, because your most detailed parts are probably going to run over, and then all the time you spent doing what, just a pair of floating hands and a forearm? Not connected, just 3 separate pieces. Like OG Smash Bros, the Master Hand. Katamari, welcome in. Metallics are almost always going to take more than 1 coat to get done, but that's okay. I also tend to do more than 1 coat anyways because I'm too cheap to buy the super expensive modeling paints that everybody says you need to buy. It's like, no, if you want to do everything in 1 coat, probably, but if you're okay with doing a couple of coats, there's no reason whatsoever to buy super expensive paints when you can buy the craft store paints for, you know, $1 or $2. Like Thing from the Addams Family, right? One thing that you might actually notice is I did do some cheer badges, and I don't know if they're in the cheer menu as well, but like Katamari, for instance, has the capacitor cheer badge. Johnny, welcome in. Yeah, a couple of extra coats and they're fine. Like, if you're trying to paint, you know, 400 models, or you're doing it professionally, then yeah, 100%, it's worth your extra time. But I'm here trying to manage my mental health with this stuff. It's kind of the process, so I'm really not trying to minimize the time. I'm trying to make it reasonable for myself. That's it. And like, I know some people find it a little frustrating, especially if you're working with some of your lighter pigmented colors, like your yellows and such. But you learn how to work around it, and, you know. Yeah, finally got around to doing some different badges and art and stuff. Honestly, the 3 size thing is what's really killed me on the bit badges and stuff. It's like, you're telling me that with all your infinite Twitchdom, you can't resize my my bit badges when you can resize literally everything else? Like, really? Come on. Do I want that to be a copper rim or a steel rim? I think that to be steel, but then I do this panel here in copper, I think. Yeah, because like every time I went to do it, I'm like, oh, I could do this. And then I look at it, it's like, oh no, I need to take the time and re-export 9 versions of this. But, you know, if I have an emote, I can upload it in a size range of several thousand pixels, and they'll just fix it and make it look right. Like, why is that tool available on one piece and not the other? I don't get it. Wow, that's super washed out, eh? Can we fix that up? Pardon me while I do a thing with the buttons and the stuff. I think that's a little better. That's a little better. Yeah, I just don't understand why. It's not about people caring about it's not about people caring about emotes. It's like technical from behind the scenes. You have a square image that's getting uploaded to a system. Why is the tool set not available on both platforms? That's my question. Like, from a technical standpoint, it's the same thing, just going to a different spot. So why? Why? Don't understand. Andrea, welcome in. How you doing? We are painting. We are painting the dice tower that we 3D printed last time. So let me toss some parts back together. We are painting this guy. This is what we're working on right now. So we flat painted the whole thing so we'd have a good basis to work off of. And, we've got to get that under edge, though. Glad I did that, actually. Just gonna... So you can see the difference. Like, this is what we're working with here on the white versus on the black. Like, it's a very, very different visual that we're working with, right? That's why, knowing I was going to use metallics, I wanted to use the black, but I missed that this was going to be a problem here, so that's okay. We're just going to have to take a couple of extra coats. It's not a problem. And we just got to be careful how we set this thing down now. That's all. Jiminy Billy Bag. Yeah, we have one more piece that needs to get printed. This is the base. It was printing overnight. I ran out of filament. So what you do in that instance is you grab this, you measure, and you go, all right, that was 19 millimeters. So you go to your 3D model, you cut 19 millimeters off the bottom, and then you reprint it. So you don't waste all this material and print time. However, I don't think I've actually shown off. Wow, that's terrible. That just really killed the exposure on that, eh? Wow, that's terrible. I was trying to show off the infill pattern, but I don't know how well you can actually see that. Yeah, that's... Yeah, this is what's called gyroid infill. So it's a self-supporting 3D infill. That's one of my absolute favorites. Alright, let's mix ourselves up some wood color. Start with a brownish base. Going to a little bit of that. And this. A bit of that. There it is. This is a little oversaturated now. This is annoying. Nice thing is, pretty much all roads lead to brown if you add enough colors together. So I think I want to go a little bit of white in there, lighten that up a tiny bit. Okay, that one's dead. So no sensor on your 3D printer for the filament. No. I've looked at and thought about implementing them a number of times. Generally, they don't work as well as you want them to, which is unfortunate, but kind of the reality. And unfortunately, with all of that, brown was always my specialty in art class. Let's make that and that. Yes, okay. Let's make a little bit of a dark color over here. So I've looked at them. The big thing is those systems, which do exist and mostly work, tend to rely on the because there's basically two filament faults that you need to try and catch. One is the absolute basic filament running out, and then the second being the filament jamming. And usually those are two inside of the same system, which tends to not work as well as you want. Detecting when the filament is actually jammed is actually really hard without adding undue stress to the system, liable to create a jam itself. I don't really like that color that much, but I think it's going to be good for texturing. We'll see. So adding a filament runout sensor isn't super hard, but generally speaking, I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm dealing with. I just was tired when I set it up, and I didn't give it the proper amount of time and respect when I was going to bed. That's realistically what it was. Normally, I actually take a closer look and ensure that, you know, the material left is in line with the material needed, and That's the... Rebecca, my Becky, welcome in. How you doing today? This is super weird looking. Let's turn that saturation down a bit. It's a little better. But yeah, I screwed up. I didn't pay attention. I could add a whole system to that, but the general system I've used to this point has been just not being bad at it. With enough experience, it's actually really easy to tell when you're going to run out of filament, and I think I've only ran out of filament a couple of times, and usually it's, I don't know if I actually have enough material left, and then I'll run it as close as I can, and usually keep an eye on it. This one, I just wasn't paying attention. General system. All right. We're actually pretty rapidly coming up the get good method. Yeah, exactly. So glad you're familiar with it. I weigh my filament spool before I start the print. That worked pretty reliable so far. That is probably a little bit more intense than I tend to go. Again, it's one of those weird things. Like, I wouldn't be able to describe to somebody why I could tell whether or not it's going to run out. Just like, right, looking at it there. Actually, there is one way that you can do. 1 second. Something that this brand in particular does, which is kind of nice, is here. It gives you measurements along the side for diameter to length and mass. So that is one kind of more tangible system you could use. Kind of look at what's left on the spool and see roughly how much mass that is versus the rest of it. The print was pretty marginal. Honestly, I really like Overture. Not sponsored, but I do. However, if they did want to sponsor me, I'd be very, very happy about that, because I really like Overture filament. One of the best budget filaments on the market right now. Very consistent quality control. Yeah, sponsor me. I mean, realistically, I have helped sell a bunch of their filaments, but that's not a really controversial opinion, because there's a lot of people that noticed and say the exact same thing as me. These guys. I found some PLA to be a little bit more inconsistent than I was willing to deal with. Had more jams with that brand than otherwise. A really odd and unfortunate one is MG Chemicals, because they're a Canadian company. I've actually met the owner of it. They're based in BC. And when you get a good roll from them, it is fantastic. But when you get a bad roll from them, it's absolutely garbage and pretty much useless. So I tend to not buy that material from them anymore, despite using a bunch of their other products, which is really good. Yeah, Sunlu, yeah. If we can get a couple of nerdy sponsors on here, that'd be cool. Get some free electronics test gear and all that good stuff. You want me to say nice things about your power supply? Well, I'll compare it against my one from the 70s. If you can't beat my power supply from the 70s, well, you need to make better equipment. Yeah, every year Keysight does a massive giveaway of a whole bunch of equipment, and every year I enter, and every year I don't get anything. Not surprising, there's 10 million people that enter those things, but Carrot heard sponsor and just started vibrating, was like, ooh, let me do it. I'm like, Carrot, you do what you're best at. You make it happen. I have full faith in you. If anybody can get me a sponsorship from them, it is 1000% you. We're going to have the primary structure of the top of this made out of wood with copper and then steel reinforcements, I think. Yeah, enter commands you to enter the chat. I was happy with my little joke to Clever of like, what did I miss? Exclamation enter. Yeah, Carrot won so many giveaways last night. It was really fantastic. Alright. Getting there. The inside of this is a little bit tricky to paint, particularly with this brush, but I can't be bothered to grab another one, considering this is first coat. First pass kind of coat, which I'm not too concerned about. So I use Extruder Green Tech Pro, a bit more expensive, but I prefer it now over the other filament. Yeah, I've used a couple of more expensive brands and enjoyed them when they went on sale, but I do so much 3D printing, and most of it is non-structural in any real sense of the word. So I generally can't justify the extra expense. Same as like my resin printer, you know, I had to buy a specific bottle of resin for the dice casting, and that was great, and that's fine, but my general casting is always going to be done with, you know, pretty much the cheapest possible material. Even if it's slightly harder to work with, I just can't afford the more expensive materials for no reason. General casting? Alright. Looking pretty good. Alright, we're going to be wrapping up here in a moment once I'm done this coat. Any other day I would happily continue streaming. However, I do have other other demands to see to, unfortunately. Which I know is preposterous, and how dare I? But at the end of the day, I have D&D to run. I'm gonna get this copper placed down. Shouldn't take me very long, and then we can go on a raid. And that'll be a lovely time. I have to do one more coat of that brown anyways, so I'll go over a little bit. It's not the end of the world. You need magic missiles, the darkness. I think you need to be able to see your target to magic missile them, though. It doesn't. It always hits, but I don't think you can just like magic missile a corner and have it hit invisible enemies. I have to double check that, but they definitely do be covered in paint. Yes, but unfortunately what you failed to account for was the darkness was magical in nature. Something is in the darkness, creating this void, unpierceable by your dark vision. This is going to look really good when it's all done. I'm very excited about it. Like I said, I've never felt the need for a dice tower before, and this is almost definitely not going to see a whole lot of use at all. But I know some tables have actually mandated their use so to avoid player cheating and stuff, and I'm like, anytime I think that, I'm like, really? Like, how little trust is there in your group that, you know, like, it's not a casino. Like, there's no stakes there. I feel like you might be playing a slightly different version than we're working with here. Magical darkness cannot be pierced by standard dark vision. There are traits that will extend your dark vision to further darkness, but not through magical darkness. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how it already looks. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's going to be look even cooler because we're kind of approaching the Valley of Suck at the moment, where everything looks really nice because we got it flat painted, and then we're going to be going through and creating this weird streaky mess. And then we're going to keep pushing, and it's going to look nice again. And then we're going to go through and texture it, and it's going to look like garbage again. And onward and onward and onward and round and round. As is the nature of literally every project ever. I really wish my my energy systems course had videos that I could listen to instead of books that I need to read, because I would work on this while studying instead of having to read them. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I can set that there to dry. I think I created a big thumbprint in the copper that I just very carefully put down, but that's okay. That is okay. Rain, welcome in. How you doing today, friend? Not a whole lot I can do to show this thing off without More of a Pathfinder. Yeah, Pathfinder is a whole different system for sure. I've been wanting to try it just to see what I want to steal from it, but haven't gotten around to doing that. Here's what we managed to accomplish on stream today, Rain. Got flat coat. Came home from a kid's birthday party about an hour ago. Oh, that's nice. Got our flat coat done. Getting our detailing done on the top. Need the main body to dry up a little bit more. It's still a scooch tacky. And then we're going to start going through and going to try and make it look like that. Or at least something similar to that. Alright. So. We have... Who do we have going on right now? Oh, well, that sounds like exactly where we're going. That's exactly where we're gonna go. And I think anyone familiar with where we're going is gonna understand at this point who my current raid target is. We are gonna go say hello to our good friend Jomsy. They are just starting stream. They are starting out with getting some loop pedal goodness going. Jomsy's gonna serenade you with their silky vocals and wonderful guitaring, and we're gonna. I want to modify our raid call for this. The Moth Mob is your problem now. Mothman's tired, we're your problem now. I mean, I don't know, what do you think? Boop? Or scream? Love that for us. Ooh, Carrot, you just killed it. Fantastic job. Fantastic job, Carrot. Thank you so much. Alright. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you for spending your weekend with me. Spent a little time with me this morning. Really enjoyed painting that. We'll see what we're going to be doing on Thursday. We might be painting it. We might be working on something else. Who's to say? Keep an eye on Discord. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye.